The Lord had placed on my heart this morning to share a word from the book of Romans. And it is the 3rd chapter. And I'll be starting in verse 21 and going through verse 26. Again, it's Romans 3, 21 to 26. And as is customary here at Jerusalem, if you're able, if you please stand just for the reading of the word. The word reads as follows, and I'll be reading from the New Revised Standard Version. It says, "But now, irrespective of law, the righteousness of God has been disclosed, and is attested by the law and the prophets. The righteousness of God through faith in Jesus Christ for all who believe. There is no distinction, since all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. They are now justified by His grace as a gift, through the redemption that is in Christ Jesus, whom God put forward as a sacrifice of atonement, by His blood, effective through faith. He did this to show His righteousness, because in His divine forbearance, He had passed over the sins previously committed. It was to prove at the present time that He Himself is righteous, and that He justifies the one who has faith in Jesus. Amen. For all have sinned and fall short of the glory of God. They are now justified by His grace as a gift, through the redemption that is in Jesus Christ." I just want to share a few moments here with you on the topic of grading on the curve. The bell curve, which is commonly known as the curve, is a tool used by teachers to show a distribution of data. Teachers use it to analyze or adjust scoring if needed. For example, if a midterm that a teacher does, and she notices that most of the class got C's, and there were a few B's and a few D's, and even fewer A's and F's, then the teacher could conclude that the average is a C and the test was reasonably fair and no adjustment is needed. However, if the teacher notices that the majority of the class was failing or near failing the test, then it could be concluded that the test was too difficult and they decide to grade on the curve. And this can be done in a variety of ways. But the method that caught my eye was the bump to 100 method. And this is where the teacher takes the highest score in the class and bumps it to 100. And for whatever measure she increased that score by, she also increased the other scores by to remain fair. And grading on the curve, the idea came to me when I was listening to sports talk radio, as I often like to do. And they were just talking about life in general. And the host said that he would prefer a B or a C type of life. Type of life that doesn't have so many highs and so many lows, but just easy sailing. Now, while this life would prevent feelings of extreme lows like losing loved ones or missing a promotion on a job or failing at a business venture or the rejection of the opposite sex. But in order to have that type of life, You would never get the experience of feeling love with someone else. You would never have the feeling of aspirations of increasing or moving up in your job. You'll never get the opportunity to make yourself vulnerable to a heartbreak, and you'll never feel the extreme joy that comes from falling in love. The only way to guarantee that you don't fail is to don't try. And with not trying, you're only guaranteeing that you will not succeed. On the other hand, the Coco said that she would rather have some A's and F's and some ups and downs in her life. She would rather have the possibility of falling when you're learning how to walk. Because the only way never to fall is to never get up in the first place. See, most of the successful people in the world have had failures before they found success. And if they had stopped after the first or maybe even the second time of failing, then our lives would be greatly different than they are now. But because they had the boldness to step up and go and follow their dreams and make those inventions like the iPhones and the microwaves and the Mac computers, our lives are different, and we remember them differently because of their boldness and their conviction and their beliefs. And that made me think of how I wanted to be remembered as a Christian. Did I want to be the BC Christian? Well, I just came to church Sunday after Sunday, but never going outside of my comfort zone to talk to people outside of these walls. When I'm walking in the street or in the grocery store or in the barber shop, I can come to church and I can raise my hand and I can shout a shout and I can go home feeling good about what just happened. But when the topic of God and Jesus comes out outside of the church house, I just put my finger up, excuse myself, because that might make me uncomfortable. And I heard on the video the other day something that really caught my attention. They said that comfort and conviction cannot live in the same house. Because if you're comfortable, then you're good right where you are. And you better get used to that because you'll never get anywhere else. But if there's any kind of chance of a growth, there's going to be some discomfort. If you're studying for an exam and the material is hard, there's going to be some discomfort. If you're going to the gym, whether you're trying to bulk up or slim down, there's going to be some discomfort in your body. And whenever you're trying to reach a goal, there's going to be some discomfort. So I had to decide, am I going to be comfortable or am I going to be convicted? See, the blood of the Lamb convicts us. And a convicted Christian walks in boldness, realizing that I was not created in the spirit of fear. Going out and spreading the word of a Savior who came down from heaven and walked amongst the men and taught about his Father who loved us and loved us enough to go on an old rugged cross as a payment for the sins that he did not even commit. So that we might even just have a chance to be in eternity with God. The scripture says it like this in 2 Corinthians 5:21, God made him who knew no sin to be sin for us, that we may be the righteousness of God. And that's why I thank God for grading on the curve, because just like the teacher saw that the students might not be able to pass the test without assistance of the bell curve because the test was too hard, God saw that his children was not able to walk this life without some assistance. So he came down, sent his son down here to move us all to 100. Because without the curve, he knew that we would not pass the test. First point. Without Jesus, we fail. Look at verse 23. I don't know if we can get any clearer than that. Because it says we all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And God left very clear instructions that in this life, in order to live according to his word, we had to have an advocate, because on our own we had no chance to live up to his standards. Because the standards of God is perfection, and we are imperfect creatures. To even have a chance to stand up to God's commitment, if we were on our own, we would have to be bubble wrapped, have no outside contact, stay in our houses like hermits, and have the Bible clutched to our chests. But we all know that that's not how life is. Let's just take a look at a typical day. When we get up in the morning and we roll out of the bed and we stretch and yawn and complain about our back hurt, our leg hurt, and then that's right there, getting out of the bed. The first thing out of our mouths should be praise to God, allowing us to wake up in the morning, not even realizing that the very air we breathe is an option that God picks up, but he doesn't have to. Then we make our way to the kitchen and we get ourselves a cup of coffee and we sit down at the table and just happen to look out the window in the neighbor's yard. There's a brand new car. Matter of fact, it's the same car you was looking at last week but decided not to get it. And the thought just popped in your head, just for a second, I wish I had that car. That car would look nice in my driveway. And with that very thought, we've committed a sin, because Exodus 20:17 says, "Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, wife, slave, ox, donkey, or anything that belongs to your neighbor." And then we get on the phone, and we're talking about this coworker that got a promotion that you felt they didn't deserve. Gossiping about what method they used to get the promotion. I'm going to let you know something, that's a sin too. Proverbs 20:19 says, "A gossip reveals secrets, and you should not associate with a blabber." In my opinion, that's one of the things that's holding the church back from being a place of healing that it should be. Sunday after Sunday, pastor calls us up to the altar, knowing that we got stuff that we need to leave here at the altar, and we don't come up because we're afraid that somebody's going to talk about us when we come up here. We don't want to come up here if it's just one of us standing there. We ought to have the boldness, no matter if it's 1 or 100. If we need something from the altar, we need to come down to the altar. But if we come down to the altar, we feel vulnerable. I can't understand it. How long are we going to come in and out of the church the same way? When we come into church, we come in heavy. And when we get amongst the body, we're supposed to worship. And when we worship, we move stuff off of us. And we give it over to the Lord. And we tell him, "Lord, I can't handle it any longer. I have to turn it over to you." And at that point, we place ourselves in vulnerable spots. But we keep a little bit of that curtain closed. Because we can't stand here fully naked. Because if we stand here fully naked, we'll get talked about. You hear Pastor Sunday after Sunday say, "I wish I could tell you everything that I'm going through." And if word got out that myself, Pastor, anybody in the pulpit was going through some stuff, the phone lines would be lit up all the way around. Did you hear such and such? Did you know that such and such? My God. When are we going to make a decision to actually come to church and be the church? When we're going to actually come in here and be vulnerable enough to say, "Lord, here I am in all my nakedness. Take all of this and just lay it at your feet." When is that going to happen? The place of the altar is the place where the communion between God and people takes place. That's where healing takes place. Yes, it can take place anywhere else, but we're commanded to come to the altar. I mean, let me ask you a serious question. If you would go go on your way to the doctor's office and you've been shot, would you just go in the sitting room and just wait there and cover it up there? Because you scared somebody else is going to see that you've been shot? Or would you bust in the door and say, help me! I've been shot. I need somebody to save my life. Well, then how come we come to the church house Sunday after Sunday and we don't tell God what's really going on with us? How come you say, Jesus, I need you to help me. I need you to save my life. We need to be like the woman who reached out and just tried to touch the hem of the garment of Jesus in her boldness. We need to trust the word of God as he left it. But let's go back to our day. You're driving in your car and someone cuts you off in traffic. And you want some vengeance. But Leviticus 19:18 says, you shall not take vengeance or bear a grudge against any of your people, but you shall love thy neighbor as yourself. You get home from work and your kids haven't cleaned their rooms, but the rest of the house is looking tore up from the floor up, and you want to get into them for not doing what you said to do. Well, Matthew 7:3 says that we can notice the speck in our neighbor's eye, but can't see the log in our own. But kids, this isn't a place where you get off, because Exodus 20:12 says you should honor thy mother and father, so that the days of the Lord may be long. And this does mean honor them no matter what. So even if they don't clean their part, you ought to clean yours if they asked you to do so. Now this is just a random day. And looking through it through the normal line, we would say that that's a typical day. Nothing wrong with that. I ain't killed nobody. I didn't cuss nobody out. I didn't hurt anybody's feelings. It was a normal day. But then we get to mentioning the things that we see on TV or listen to on the radio or click on the internet. And the entire world is selling everything counter to God. They sell perfume, and you see a woman on a motorcycle riding, and then a shirt fly off into the wind, and you don't even realize it's a commercial for perfume until the very end where it says Chanel. Every way we turn down here, we are being tested. And relying on flesh alone, we fail. And that's why I'm glad that God grades on the curve, because he sent someone down here to help me make my way through this world. Just like Peter was talking to Jesus, and Jesus said, let me wash your feet. And Jesus said, I've been saved, and you don't need to wash my feet, not me. And he said, if I don't wash your feet, you have no stake with me. And he said, not just my feet, but everywhere, Lord. But see, you didn't need to wash everywhere, because once you're saved, you're cleansed. But when we walk on the earth, then our feet get dirty. So that's why Jesus said, let me wash your feet, because he knows that as you walk, your feet get dirty. That's why I asked the Lord, wash my feet, because I need to be cleansed from walking down in this earth. Send me an advocate so that I can be saved. Because when I'm walking down in this earth on my own, I know I'm going to hell. Second and final. With Jesus, we pass. Remember in English class, when you were learning about sentences, and there's a but in the sentence, and it says you can read the sentence, and then when you get to the but, that but negates everything that comes prior to it in the sentence. See, I got up this morning and I was complaining and I didn't thank God, but Jesus. I coveted my neighbor's possessions. But Jesus stepped in and made me realize I had all I needed. I was gossiping about somebody, not even knowing what I was talking about. But Jesus. I was upset with my kids for not doing what I asked them to do. But Jesus. Let me tell you something. There was a joke that Chris Rock said. He was talking about how poor he was when he was growing up and how his parents treated everything with tussin. And he said that if he had a cough, they gave him some tussin. If he had a sore throat, they gave him some tussin. If he had a broken arm, they said put some tussin on it. And that's what we have to do. When we're complaining, we need to put some Jesus on it. And when we're jealous, we need to put some Jesus on it. And when we're angry, we need to put some Jesus on it. And when we're sad, we need to put some Jesus on it. And when we're lonely, we need to put some Jesus on it. And when we're broken, we need to put some Jesus on it. When we got a bad attitude, we need to put some Jesus on it. When we get some trials and tribulations, we need to put some Jesus on it. Pain and disease, put some Jesus on it. But let me be clear, because I don't want to come off like you do whatever you want to do and just claim the blood of Jesus and everything will be all right. Because that's not the case. See, Jesus came because God knew we needed help as we tried to walk this walk in this world. He knew that during our time here, we were going to sin, even after we had been saved. Because of the flesh, and the very nature of flesh is sin. Matter of fact, the song says we were born into sin. As a matter of fact, even our hearts are called deceitful. See, God, just like the teacher, saw that the grades needed to be curved, saw that the children needed help. God knew that the only way we make it through this test is to grade on the curve. The teacher based the grades off of the best student in the class. It just so happens that Jesus is the perfect student in this class of life. He was allowed to come down from heaven, and he walked amongst us on the earth, and he sent him up to an old rugged cross on a hill called Calvary to pay a sin debt for everyone else, to bump us all to 100. And that's why I thank God that he grades on the curve, because he loved us enough to send Jesus down here on earth. I thank God for grading on the curve. Because without Jesus, there is no way. The word says that He is the way, the truth, and the life. There's no other way to the Father but by me. So if you don't know this Jesus I'm talking about right now, you can come down and introduce yourself. Because the relationship is not between the preacher and the person. The relationship is between the Savior and the person. The preacher is not going to get you to heaven. Mama and daddy is not going to get you to heaven. They can't bump you up to 100. But Jesus can bump you up to 100. He can pick you up where you've fallen down. He can fill the void that you need filled. And don't try to fill it with anything else, because those things are only temporary. The word says that He offered the woman at the well this water where you'll never thirst again. Is there one this morning? Is there one that wants to come by? Let her. that you've decided to make Jerusalem be a place of worship.